Hello everyone, and welcome to Jumperman Tech, where we specialize in HVAC but do everything DIY. I was not going to record this video as I've done something similar in my previous video, but this one is such a nightmare, I had to show it. Thank you to everyone tuning into Jumperman Tech. Previously, this ceiling was not open, this was all cut. So let's see, where was the frame before? It went from here to here. All you had was this access, so pretty much you can kind of change the filter and get to the electrical panel. They signed a contract to do the full deep cleaning and then hopefully a maintenance contract afterwards. But the problem is there's nothing to maintain if you can't get to it. So I told them, you guys got to put some bigger access panels in here, which they got over there. Pretty nice. Take a piece of sheetrock. Anyways, I told them we need access because we just literally can't get to it. So they cut this all out, and then the other half of this unit, because how you're gonna get to the other screws back there is in the closet. So they cut the closet open so we could even access these screws. We're step in here to get this done. I mean, this is absolutely insane. You know, I told them what they really need to do, because we need to drop this cover down to get things actually down. They need to lower this ceiling a few inches just so we can get to some things. Let's see, they took out the frame, but look, this frame is still right above the unit. I don't know how much you're gonna be able to pull things down. We gotta see how things are placed, but I could tell you right now, the condensate pan is not coming out, and how are you gonna like effectively clean that coil? I mean, at this point, the real problem is that it's not working, but the noise. So if we can at least get to the fan motors, that's gonna be the objective today. But this is one for the history books, guys. All right, guys, it is showtime. Power is off. They already had it off. Let's take off the screws that we can. Let's get this front cover off. Because of the framing that's on there, that condensate pan ain't coming out of there. It is what it is. Let's try to get this motor out. Oh God, this whole thing is gonna freaking fall. Oh, whoa, whoa. This ain't good. If there's brakes, it breaks. Brakes, it breaks. That's all I could say. That's all I could do. Take that off. Well, luckily we can get to this screw. Jeez. That's amazing. Gotta take off some of these screws just to lower this cover, because we need this to come down a bit to get to these motors. Let's take out what we can. That screw is really in there. Ooh. Let's see what we could do. We will see what we could do. Making us suffer. Yeah, well. Let's always try our best. You guys know that I always do my best and I do everything I can. If I can't do it, nobody can. See, the problem is here. Let me get you guys a better look. This right here sits on this framing. We might be able to get this motor out. We actually might not, at least this one. So thing is, even if we take this whole thing out, we need like leverage to get this condensate pan out. It's actually a few inches thick, so it's not gonna come out of here. I need to cut this frame out, but this frame is holding up part of the ceiling somehow, however they did this. Listen, we're gonna do what we can do. they need to provide access. But look inside there, man, there is no airflow. My gosh. Okay, as far as here, got these two little clips. You press down and push down and pull down. Boom. So you see, this is like this, you can't get it out. So this has to come down a bit to get this at an angle. Oh, come on. This has to be at the right angle for it to come out. There we go. This one, I don't know if it's gonna come out. Real talk. Also, we gotta take out the two wires here. Here's the control panel, which is an absolute mess. Where's the electrical panel? But anyways, what you would do if you don't know, you would take this and you would follow it. This guy, all right, there's one right here. There's a little clip. You press down, pull. You press down on this and you pull. And then the next one, let's see, who's that coming? Right here, right? This guy, the one right next to it. I know where it is, but listen, you guys gotta trace wires like that, pull that out. And from here, I'm gonna pull from this side, pull that through. Now pull the next one through. And your wires are free. I know the mentality here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, this is from 2011, and you got problems. Anyways, there's 4 screws on this motor bracket here. Can I get to it? 1. Oh, this is a bit of a problem. I need an extension. No, I got it. 2. Oh, come on. This one's actually not as bad as that last room, but you're not going to be able to get everything out so easily. What's up with this one, man? This thing is jacked up. Three. Onto this bracket while I take off the last screw right there, and it's free. Oh Lord. All right, okay, this next one, this is the one I'm worried about. The other one I could get. That's the problem. All right, that's the problem. This has to be at an angle to pull this out. You'll need to be at an angle, even if you take off that top screw. The top, like for this piece. Can that come out? We can try to loosen it and see what we can do on the other side, but that might be a problem. The next option is a little crazy, but if it's possible, I might try it. What I could possibly do is get an Allen key in here, loosen up the blade, and I'll be able to pull the motor out. It really shouldn't have to be like this. This is absolutely ridiculous. I told him the solution here, I know it's not the funnest thing to do, but drop the ceiling a bit over here, okay? Drop the ceiling and then you have all the space you need to get everything out, do all the repairs you need. But if you ever gotta change, you know, like the pump and the EEV, you know, let's see, how you gonna get in there? How you gonna change those parts inside there? You're just not. You're simply not. And those famous sayings, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And save now, pay later. Okay, for this, literally standing in the closet. See, this has to come down and I can get it out. Then there's 4 screws here for the motor bracket. All right, that fell. And I get this. It's difficult. It's difficult for you to see. It's difficult for me to see and do this. That's that. One more screw. They're so dusty you can't even see the screws, but I know where they are. Because fortunately, but unfortunately, I had some experience with this. Okay, that's done. Is there anything something's gonna break? Whoa. No, we're gonna break something here. I don't want to cut some kind of support structure. There's only one final way to get in here. We gotta find that locking screw. On the inside or outside here? On the outside here. I can get this done, but man, nobody else would do this. All right, so I got this long Allen key. There's a little space here so I could put the key through. If you guys can see, I'm gonna get it in there, loosen it up, hold this other end because it might fall out. What I could do is not pull the motor from the other side. Oh god, that's amazing. Wow, look at the dirt on this shaft. My lord, ain't nobody got to this in years. Now the next question is, can this come out now like this? I'm not cutting out that stud. I don't want to be responsible for that. Can this come out? Something's gonna break in here. Gonna come out somehow. Oh! I'm telling you guys, I need to start charging more for stuff like this. This is insane. Come on. Ah, my finger. I'm so close. And there we go. Gotta remember to put this back the same way. What a mess. We're gonna clean these blades because if you change the motors, what good would that do if you're not moving air? I'm gonna show you guys some pictures. Slop sink is insane, but anyways, I'm just gonna rinse it out with some high pressure water, put my finger over the hose, create some pressure, and these clean up pretty quick, but you gotta give it some effort. And look at that, this thing is brand new. Now there's air gonna be passing through here. You see, you gotta have access and have a little bit of pride in your work. I would cover the motors with plastic so some things don't get wet, like these connections here and this connection here, but we're gonna change these motors. We're just gonna go ahead and, you know, and go for it. So let's clean all this up, switch the motors, and get that back in place. All right, guys. So here's the old motor, the existing blade. Here is the new motor. I already marked it. So you see here I wrote R for just for the right side and an arrow up, so I know it's facing above the unit. Well, also more importantly, if you look here, there's an arrow facing up. I marked this one just because it's the same. Also look at that it's the same orientation. Back of the motor and the side with the shaft, right? So you know this blade goes directly on this way, the same way. And there's actually also an arrow here. So you just want the arrows to match, this arrow and that arrow, so you know that this is rotating in the same direction, so this blade is on correctly. Now let's look closely here. You're gonna find a screw right here, and you're gonna see a little bit of an opening here. You know what that's for? It's for a long Allen key. So you're gonna push that through, get to the screw, doing this with one hand, holding the camera in the other, and you're gonna twist it to the left. Let me get my camera. Actually, let me see if I can get it. Right there. You heard that click? I loosened up the screw, twist it out, doing this with one hand. Blade is out. Now this is gonna go the same way on this side. Old motors don't have this, so they integrated a new design, which is really great, unless all of these are missing. I don't know. Anyways, you see this little ring here? This piece right here, it's actually a stopper. So when I push this in, it stops right there. So we have everything aligned. So what you want to know is that the shaft is a round piece, and it's important to see that this side is flat. You see how it's flat there? The flat part of the shaft lines up with the locking screw. So this has to go in like this, and then you tighten it down. So you tighten down the screw on the flat part of the shaft. One small piece of advice, a little tip of trick that I do. So the flat part of the shaft, I might mark it with a marker if you can see. So I know that's the flat part. So when I push this in, I make sure that the marker is lined up with the screw, so I know that's the flat portion of the shaft when the locking screw is on the inside. On the outside, for the next motor, you'll notice you could actually visibly see it with the blade in. So anyways, let's get this inside here. Make sure it's on the flat part of the shaft, right? And let's lock it down. Tighten it down real good. We are done. We are ready for the next motor. This one is just a little bit different, and I'll show you how. Anyways, I marked the arrow going up, L for left, and I wrote an X just so I know in the future this motor was changed. Anyways, there's an arrow here, and you're going to want to match it up with the arrow on this one, where it's actually on the side here, goes up. So match that up accordingly. So now this blade goes in this orientation. You see the locking screw on this one is on the inside, but this one that I pulled out is a little bit different. The locking screw is going to be on the outside, so it's going to be opposite. And also, if you pay close attention, this side here has a very small portion where the locking screw can go on, where it's flat, as compared to this one, it's flat all the way along. So you know the locking screw goes on the inside here, and you know the locking screw goes on the outside here, so you kind of know what the orientation is. Also, you can follow the arrow on the motor. If you're unsure, follow the arrow and pay attention to these scoops. Look how they're curved. So you need to make sure, how is it going to scoop the air? Like this is going to scoop the air. If it goes this way, it's not. So pay attention, line up the locking screw with the flat part of the shaft, tighten it down, you're good to go. Here is where it's different. So on this, when it's the locking screws on the outside, you see how you can see the flat portion of the shaft? Line that up with the locking screw and tighten it down. As far as right now, I'm just going to be wiping down all of these covers. They are quite the mess in there. Not as bad as some of them, but still pretty bad. Anyways, let's clean that up and then start installing these motors. wiped all that stuff down. Actually purchased a new little air compressor, electric air compressor. Got 60% battery right now. We got 3 speeds, flashlights, you name it. We're gonna blow out this area here, as there's actually no other option to clean this. When you neglect this and don't put the cover back on, it's gonna get super dusty. I would recommend having a vacuum cleaner while you do this, but let's just do it. Brand new. And that's just an idea to show how dusty it really is here, and even in the unit. You might not even see it at first, but it's crazy. We have this motor bracket. It sits on this rounded edge, so I'm gonna push the wire through. Okay. All right, thank you, man. All right, do your thing. That's Christian over there. I'm doing one room while he does the other. Getting the hang of things. Real quick though, I wanted to show you how that was done. I actually got to take this off. Loosen that up, because we got to fit it in that tight space before I could actually put it in. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, let's open that up. Here's the light. This is a whole mess and a half. Has to be in this orientation. This is gonna be a whole thing. Can I squeeze it through? Oh, breaking it. All right. So you really gotta force your way through. And now with this one, oh boy. Get in this crazy closet. Put that up there. See how I could even do this. Go like this. Somehow push this through. Gonna do this blinded. Okay, there we go. I got it in there. Now what I want to do is mount the motor. Okay, make sure that's bracket is on right on the rubbers. Get it on there a little bit. Yeah, the bracket's on right with the rubbers. Let's get the next screw in. All right, let's take this. Whoa, something fell. One step at a time. Make sure the bracket's on there, right? Yes, it is. I can tighten that down. Good. 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 Yep, that's on there, all right. Somehow get this in there. Yes, sir. Now let's tighten down that blade. All right, so like I showed you guys, you gotta match up the flat part with the shaft. Luckily in this one, I could see it from this angle. If it wasn't from this angle, you know, that'd be a serious problem. Let me do it from here. Get this situated. I'm in there, make sure it's in all the way. What we gotta do is actually adjust the shaft. Can I spin? Oh yeah, I can spin it from here. That tiny little piece. Make sure it's pushed in all the way. And now we can tighten it all the way. Nice and tight. All right. Pull it out. Close it up. No scratching, that's what I'm talking about. Now I can tuck this in at an angle that which is hard to do sometimes. Seems simple, but it's not. Okay, it's in, closed, spin the blade, nice and smooth. That's what I'm talking about. Make sure this is on properly. Yes, it is. This one's gonna be easier. Get this in place, come on. Why doesn't this line up? Something's off on this one. Let me see. Let me just get that started. We'll figure out what's up with that. Hopefully this one doesn't scratch. Something don't feel right here. Now it's in. Now let's get that in. I need extension. Gotcha. All right, 4 screws, let's get it. Okay, tuck this in. Come on. Gotcha. Smooth. All right, now these wires. This little place here, I'll show you on a better angle, but I'm gonna tuck these in here. Tuck this in here. That one's broken. Oh, that one's broken. That's beautiful. We'll get some tie wraps. Then we're gonna put it through this rubber grommet and feed it into our control panel. One, and then the next one. Okay. All right, get that through. I'll show you a picture of the diagram as well. I have a picture of it. And I'm just gonna plug it in to the same spot it was before in the same orientation. Okay, neaten up this wire. Have that in. And there's like a little thing in here where we can hold the wires kind of neatly together. And we should be all right. As far as the condensate pan, this cover needs to come down, but that pan needs to come down at an angle just like this. You're not getting to it, so we can't clean the coil, can't clean the condensate pan, and they're gonna have problems in the future. But hey, listen, it works for now. It's gonna be quiet and you're gonna have airflow. Let's put these screws in and make a run for it. Before we close it up, give it a nice test. It is completely with no sound here. In my other video, the issue was sound and we changed it. And when I ran it, you could actually hear some sound, but if you guys pay close attention, you'll hear that same sound without the fan running. And what was happening is that there's an EEV inside, an electronic expansion valve, which opens and closes to allow refrigerant to pass through, either hot or cold, because this is a heat pump. And you see, that means that the EEV is open even when the power is off, allowing refrigerant to pass. So that part is faulty, or something's wrong with the board, but considering the power is off, it's got to be a bad EEV. So the sound of refrigerant passing through is louder than the motors. This thing is absolutely silent. If you hear anything now, it's this thing. Hold up a second. Turn that off. Pretty much silent. When you pull the ceiling back up, it's going to be even quieter. But everything's working. We're all moving in the right direction. There you have it, guys. All the covers are back on. Put the filter back on. And that's going to be it for this one. When it comes time to change a pump, clean the coil, change some thermistors that are located inside there, well, it's going to be a problem. This framing, that is not good. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But just to keep in mind before, there was not this much access here. It was actually just this tiny little bit, and both these here were closed off. Oh man, my boy Carlos cut these ceilings, man. I feel for him, man. Look at this. You had lights inside there above. Anyways, we're pretty much gonna close it off from here for the fact they had to cut this ceiling down, put this room out of service. It's a hotel. Cut through the wood inside here, electrical in the way, then another ceiling above that, studs above that. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and you still can't do the full job. And this thing is all bent up. Anyways, we're gonna wrap this one up from here. If anyone found this video interesting or helpful, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe as I come out with new videos every week. And I'll catch you all next time.